You're walking past a fence at a park, and there it is, a tiny animal that looks like it was designed by a pillow company. Before you've formed a complete thought, your hand lifts. Your mouth even betrays you. I know I shouldn't, but I want to pet it. You stop midair, laugh, and pull your fingers back like you almost touched a hot stove. That weird split second is the whole mystery. The urge to pet doesn't wait for a committee meeting in your brain. It shows up as an action-ready feeling: reach out, make contact, connect, while the cautious part is still gathering facts like, is it stressed? Is it trained? Does it bite? Is this even allowed? Here's the main idea. Petting isn't one instinct. It's what you get when several older systems all point in the same direction at once. Your brain tags something as approachable, safe enough, and worth caring about. And that tag can appear fast because it's meant to guide movement, not debate. That's why the impulse spills outside of animals. You rub a soft blanket while you think. You stroke a plush toy absent-mindedly during a movie. You feel your hand drift toward a friend's calm dog and catch yourself asking, "Can I pet your dog?" As if you're requesting permission for your fingers. The problem is, wanting to touch is not a safety detector, and it's definitely not a consent detector. The same pull that makes a kitten feel irresistible can also light up around a wild animal that is terrified, or dangerous, or both. So, if this urge is older than modern life, what exactly is your nervous system sensing when it labels something as pettable? Your nervous system is sensing a pattern it has learned to treat as safe. Think of a caregiver with a fussy infant. Nothing complicated happens. A palm settles on the baby's back and begins slow, steady strokes. The baby's legs stop bicycling. The little fists unclench. Breathing stretches out, then evens. That quieting isn't just skin pressure. It's the brain reading a specific kind of contact as social. For mammals, gentle touch is information. Slow, light stroking and warm, predictable contact often land in the nervous system as affiliative. I'm close. I'm not attacking. You can downshift. That's why the same hand movement can feel like comfort when it comes from someone trusted, but feel invasive when it comes from a stranger. The physical force might be similar. The meaning is not. Here's the strange part. The reward doesn't require an animal at all. People rub a thumb along a hoodie seam during a tense phone call. They smooth a blanket edge while thinking. They keep petting a sleeping cat even though the cat isn't doing anything. The motion and texture are feeding the brain a familiar calming signal, like a small ritual that says, "We're okay for the next few seconds." It can help some people settle, especially when the touch is slow, gentle, and expected. But this brings us back to the mission in your hand. If touch itself can feel rewarding, why do certain creatures seem to invite that touch from across a room? Why do some faces and bodies flip the approach switch before you've decided anything at all? Somewhere on a sidewalk, a tiny puppy takes 3 confident steps and then immediately trips over its own feet. An adult watching doesn't just smile. Their voice goes higher, their shoulders loosen, and almost without asking permission, their hand drifts down, palm open, ready to steady, and yes, ready to pet. That reach isn't random. One powerful reason certain creatures feel instantly pet-worthy is that the brain is extremely sensitive to a particular pattern: infant-like traits, big eyes relative to the face, a round head, small nose and mouth, soft cheeks, short limbs, clumsy movement. When those features show up, the brain often classifies what it's seeing as vulnerable and non-threatening, and it nudges you toward attention, patience, and gentle approach. This idea is often called baby schema, and the important part is that it's not just a poetic way to say cute, it's closer to a fast perceptual shortcut. Your mind doesn't need to know the species, the temperament, or the rules of the situation. It only needs a split-second impression that says, small, soft, needs care. That impression can bring out very specific behaviors: soft voice, slower movements, an urge to get closer, and a hand that wants to make contact. That's why baby animals can hit you like a wave, even when you have zero interest in human babies. A wobbling duckling, a kitten with an oversized head, a seal pup that looks like it's been drawn with a round eraser, different species, same cue pattern. And once you notice the pattern, you start seeing where it's used on purpose. Cartoon characters get giant eyes and tiny noses. Product mascots get rounded bodies and stubby limbs. Even gadgets and apps get friendly curves, because sharp angles read as harder, colder, and less safe to approach. Online, a 10-second clip of a baby hippo or an otter eating can trigger the same approach impulse, so the comments fill up with the modern version of the reaching hand, I want to pet it. But baby-like cues don't guarantee anything about what the animal feels or what the animal will do. They just push your brain's approach button. And this brings us back to the loop. Why do some animals, especially dogs, seem to answer that approach with signals that make petting feel mutual, like a conversation instead of a one-way urge? Here's the difference between an animal that's merely cute and an animal that feels pettable. A friendly dog walks up, pauses, and looks straight at you, not a stare down. More like a check-in. You scratch its chest, and it leans and its weight settles. Its breathing slows, and your hand automatically finds a rhythm. You stop, and the dog nudges back into place, as if to say, yes, keep doing that. That's why petting a dog can feel like a two-way conversation. The animal doesn't just allow touch. It answers it with social feedback. Leaning, relaxed posture, a soft mouth, a wag that isn't frantic, steady eye contact. Cats do it differently, purring, slow blinks, pressing a cheek into your hand, choosing your lap like it's a decision. In both cases, your brain isn't just enjoying texture. It's reading, this is working. And when an interaction has clear feedback, it becomes learnable. Touch feels pleasant to you. The animal responds in a way that signals comfort, and that response becomes a reward. Next time you're stressed, bored, or coming home to an empty apartment, your body remembers the sequence. Reach out, feel softness and warmth, get a calm response, repeat. Domestication likely sharpened this loop. Over many generations, humans tended to keep and protect animals that were safer to handle, and more socially tuned to us, animals that didn't panic at hands, that stayed near people, that communicated in ways we notice. Those animals gained food, shelter, and a social place in our lives. We shaped them, and they shaped our habits. This is also why pet ownership can become a daily regulation ritual for some people. The leash walk, the greeting at the door, the familiar head on your knee, it can be comforting, even when nothing else in your day is predictable. But it's not magic, and it's not the same for everyone. The animal has to be willing, the context has to be safe, and the good feeling people report doesn't happen on command. Still, when the loop does click, it's powerful. Your hand learns that gentleness gets gentleness back. And this brings up a strange twist if some cuteness pulls us into soft, careful touch. Why does extreme cuteness sometimes pull out the opposite words? Like, I want to squeeze it. That I want to squeeze it line sounds like a glitch until you watch it happen in real time. A friend meets a tiny kitten, the kind with a round face and oversized paws. They freeze. Their shoulders rise. Their hands curl into claws for a second and they blurt, half laughing, I can't handle you. Then they catch themselves, unclench, and switch to a slow, gentle stroke, like turning the volume down with their fingertips. One theory suggests this is what's going on. When positive feeling spikes too high, your brain tries to keep you from tipping into overwhelm. So, it recruits an opposite-flavored expression, mock aggression, gritted teeth, a dramatic I could just eat you up not because you want to hurt anything, but because the intensity needs an outlet and a break at the same time. It's emotional overflow, not hidden cruelty. You can hear it in everyday language. People don't just say so cute. They say, I would die for him. Look at that little idiot. I'm going to scream. Online, a 5-second clip of a baby otter in a towel can trigger thousands of comments that sound unhinged, because the brain gets the cuteness hit without any real-world context or contact to complete the feeling. But here's the practical point. That surge is a warning light. If you feel the urge to squeeze, it's a cue to slow down, loosen your grip, and remember that a living animal has skin, ribs, and patience that can run out. Your feelings are loud. Their comfort is the rule. And if our brains can mislabel too much love with aggressive words, it raises a bigger question. Can the same systems mislabel danger as pettable and pull our hands toward animals that absolutely shouldn't be touched? Yes. The same systems that shout pet it can also misread danger. Picture a fuzzy little animal on the edge of a trail. Round face, small body. It freezes, staring at you. Your hand lifts before you've even decided to move. But the problem is, your brain's pettable signal was built for closeness, not for wildlife rules, disease risk, or an animal that has no reason to trust you. So here's the one idea that makes this livable. Treat the urge to pet as an invitation to care, not a permission slip to touch. Because wanting contact is about what your nervous system expects to feel: softness, warmth, rhythm. It is not proof that the animal is safe, friendly, healthy, or comfortable. A baby fox can trigger the same tenderness as a puppy, even though the consequences are completely different. The practical filter is simple. First, is this a wild, zoo, stray, or unfamiliar animal? If yes, your default is no touch. Not because you're cold, but because you're responsible. Second, if it's someone's pet, ask the human, and then let the animal vote. Hold your hand low. Wait. If they approach and stay, that's a maybe. If they turn their head away, lick their lips, stiffen, hide, or try to leave, that's a no, even if your brain is still begging. This matters more now because the internet trains us on close-up cuteness with the context removed. A viral clip of a baby hippo, an otter, a slow-blinking cat your body rehearses reaching out. But there's no feedback loop, no bite risk, no stressed animal pulling away. Comments fill the gap. I need to pet it. And then real life starts to look like the comments section, where wild animals become props and boundaries feel optional. The most caring move is sometimes to keep your hands to yourself. Watch quietly. Give space. Let the animal keep control of distance. And when you still want the feeling, notice how easily the urge can shift to safer targets. A familiar pet who leans in, a blanket you can stroke, a plush toy, even the soft edge of a sweater. Your tenderness gets an outlet without making another creature pay for it. That's the quiet ending here. The human hand rests beside, not on, a sleeping animal that chose its own distance. Nearby, a blanket and a plush sit within reach, and a glowing phone offers 1,000 adorable, unreachable creatures. All of them whisper the same lesson: tenderness is powerful, precisely because it can learn restraint. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for future videos.